Hello everyone, welcome to iQuanta. My name is Nitin. I'm sure everybody is doing great. Guys, this is the third video of profit and loss. In the first two videos, we discussed the basics of this chapter. In this session, we will be learning about the concepts of markup, discount and discount series with some important applications as well. So let's start the session. So guys, first we'll be learning about the markup. So what is markup? I will try to explain you with some examples actually. So let's say there is a shopkeeper who bought something. Let's say he bought an article at rupees 1000, right? As I said, I'll explain with an example, right? So obviously he has to tag the price. So he will be not tagging at the cost price obviously, because he's also sitting to make some profits, right? So let us say he wants to add some price to this before tagging. So that price, the extra price which he wants to tag, that can be introduced as markup. But how do we calculate markup? For that there is a terminology called markup percentage as well, right? So what is a markup percentage, guys? So markup percentage is something which is calculated, we can say, on CP. All right, so I would like to take an example with the markup percentage as well. So let's say the markup percentage in this case is 50%. all right, so how do we calculate markup? Markup percent is something and the amount of markup is the other thing. So amount of markup is something which is always calculated as a percentage, and that is calculated with respect to the cost price. So remember, markup percentage I took at 50%. So 50% of what? Of the cost price. Cost price I have taken over here as 1000 rupees. So we can say it should be 50% of rupees 1000, right? Okay, if I just start doing some basic calculation, so it should be 50% of 1000. Now guys, what is 50% of 1000? We can say 50% of 1000 is basically rupees 500. All right, now what? Okay, we got the extra money which we want to add it to the cost price, which comes 500. So now comes the marked price. So what is marked price, guys? When we add the amount of markup with the cost price, we get the price which is called the marked price. Okay, cost price plus markup will give us the marked price. Marked price, guys, is something which we can also call as tag price, we can also call as the list price. They all can be the name of other names of the marked price, and in short we can also call it MP. Marked price means MP in short. Call as tag price, list price as well. All right, now in this case, what should be the amount of the marked price? Okay, very simple. CP we took at 1000 rupees, right? And markup we just calculated as rupees 500. So we just add 500 to this, and what shall we have? We can say we have 1500. Just a second, this is 500. So 1000 plus 500 will give us obviously 1500. All right, so this is the very basic thing how we can calculate the mark price. Now guys, other way by which you can do the same thing, but the second method can be helpful in doing the other cases, other in solving the other questions as well. So remember this, if you must have observed that markup is something which is being added to the cost price. Because it is added, so we can say this price is actually being increased from the cost price, right? So that's why we also call it a case of percentage increase. So guys, what we can say markup percentage is nothing, this is a case of per increment, and that markup percentage will be called as percentage increment. All right, this will be called as percentage increment. Okay, so percentage increment is what we had discussed this before as well, that percentage increment is nothing but the amount of increment is what percentage of the initial value, right? So here also we'll be doing the same thing. We will understand that how this can be percentage increment, what should be the initial value, what should be the amount of increment, and what should be the final value as well, right? So in this case, guys, you must remember I just discussed here that markup is added to the cost price. So cost price would be called the initial value in this process of percentage increase. So what shall we say, guys? We'll say initial value become the cost price. All right, and guys, what do we get in the end in this change? In the end we get the marked price, remember. So marked price must be called the final value over here. So we can say the final value has to be the marked price, all right, MP. And the next thing is the amount of the increment, right? What can this become? Amount of the increment we can say is what? Is nothing but the amount of markup. All right, is basically nothing but the amount of markup. All right, so this is how we got that, how we can call this as percentage increment, right? So increment is what? Increment we can say is the amount of markup. All right, and initial value will be, in this case, will be the cost price. Okay, right. So we can say what in this particular example we put just a second, initial value has to be the cost price. Now guys, in this example which we did in the last slide, we took markup percentage as 50%, which is, we can say, as a kind of percentage increase, right? So in case of percentage increase, if we discuss this example, so cost price we are given as 1000, right? Percentage increase or markup percentage in this case is, we can say, 50%, and the final value, which is marked price, must have been obtained, right? Now if you apply multiplication factor as we were doing in the previous classes, so what should be the multiplication factor? See guys, initial value is the cost price, and initial value is always multiplied with the multiplication factor to get the final value, which in this case is the marked price. What should be the multiplication factor? It should be 1 plus the fraction or decimal conversion of this. Fraction of 50% is 1 by 2, so 1 plus 1 by 2 we can say is 3 by 2. And you can see in this case also the marked price has to be 1500, because cost price was 1000, we had assumed, into 3 by 2 is again 1500. So this is obviously everything is correct. And yes, we can say that markup percentage is a kind of percentage increase. And guys, while solving the question, we'll be using this the most so that the question can get solved faster. All right, moving next. Now we'll be discussing the concept of discount, just like we discussed the markup. So guys, I'll taking the same example further. So remember, cost price we started with 1000. Mark price came as 1500, right? Now what is being discount? Discount, guys, again comes by the help of mark price. We give some discount in mark price, and then finally we get the selling price, right? So let me take an example. Before the amount of discount, let's understand the discount percentage. Let's say in this case discount percentage is 20%, right? And on what value discount percentage is given? So guys, discount percentage is calculated on the marked price. Okay, discount percentage is calculated on the marked price. Okay, now as I said, I'll be taking the same example on continuation, right? So remember, what was the marked price we got before? Marked price came as 1500 over here, right? So the amount of discount will be calculated as a percentage of the marked price. In this case, we took discount percentage as 20, so 20% is of what? Of the marked price, and marked price is 1500 over here. So 20% of 1500 should be how much? Very simple, it has to be 300. Now what? See guys, we got the amount to discount, and this discount amount is subtracted from marked price, right? MP minus the discount, and then we get the final selling price, okay, at which the shopkeeper is selling something. All right, so marked price here is 1500, discount is 300, so 1500 minus 300 should be the amount of the selling price. 1500 minus 300 is nothing but 1200, so we can say what? That selling price has to be rupees 1200 in the end. Okay, now this is how we did it in a very basic manner. Now guys, this also can be introduced, can be explained as a help of the percentage change. So as I said that markup was something being added to the cost price, that's why it is called the percentage increase. Similarly guys, discount is something which is being subtracted from the marked price, that's why discount percentage is a kind of percentage decrease. All right, so let me explain this here. Discount percentage is a kind of percentage decrease. All right, it's a kind of percentage decrease, and again, in any percentage change there is something like initial value, final value, and the amount by which it is being changing. So here also we'll do the same thing. All right, we'll say initial value is what? In this case, remember guys, discount is given on the marked price, so initial value must be the marked price. All right, after giving discount, in the end we get the selling price, so the final value should be the selling price. Okay, the final value has to be, we can say, the selling price. And now what is the amount of the change? Guys, amount of the change, or you can say amount of the decrement in this case, because it's percentage decrease, right? So amount of decrement should be the amount of discount, right? Amount of decrement, we'll say, is nothing but the amount of the discount. All right, so this is how we can relate discount percentage completely with the percentage decrease. Okay, now remember we used to discuss that percentage decrease is what? is that the amount of decrement, is what percentage of the initial value, right? So we will use this over here as well. Amount of decrement we just discussed is nothing but the amount of the discount. So let's replace decrement with discount, and the initial value here will replace with the mark price, right? So we can say what? Finally, we can say the discount percentage is what? The discount is what percentage of the mark price, as the initial value in this case is the mark price. Alright guys, now if I take the same example over here, right, where we started with the mark price of 1500, we get the discount of 20%. Let's see what the selling price we will obtain. Alright, so mark price first, and then the discount percentage or the percentage decrease, and then we get the selling price, right? So 20% has been the discount. Now we'll do the same thing, initial value into the multiplication factor should be the final value. In this case, guys, the initial value is the mark price, okay? Multiplication factor we'll just find out, and the final value is the selling price, okay? Now what is a multiplication factor? Multiplication factor is 1 minus, the fraction or percentage conversion of this. So 20% fraction conversion is 1 by 5. 1 minus 1 by 5 is 4 by 5, right? So we can say MP into 4 by 5 is the SP, all right? MP is how much? MP is being 1500, okay? 1500 into 4 by 5, it should be actually 1200, which we can say is, the final selling price in this particular case, which you have gotten from here as well. Okay guys, so this is all about the basics of markup and discount, and we're using these concepts in solving, the questions as well. By the way, in this example, remember we started with a cost of how much? 1000, and we ended with the selling price of 1200. That means clearly there is a profit, right? Profit of how much? We can say profit of rupees 200, and we can also say, the profit percentage as, the 20%. Cost is 1000, profit is 200, so we can say profit percentage has to be 20%. Alright guys, so this is about it. Now let's start with some very simple questions in the beginning, and then we'll increase the level as well, right? So the first question is saying that if marked price of an article is rupees 840 and markup is 40%, then find the cost price. Okay guys, we just discussed that in the case of marked price, cost price is the initial value and marked price is the final value. So in this question, marked price, that means the final value is given, the percentage change, or you can say markup percentage is given, and we need to find the cost price, or we can say the initial value is being find out. Now how do we do that? So we had been learning this in the questions of percentages, that whenever we have to find the initial value, we should always use the logic of the multiplication factor, right? So we'll be doing the same here. Remember, initial value, that means the cost price is being asked, and the final value, that means the mark price is being given, and the percentage change, percentage increase, or you can say the markup percentage is also given, which is 40%. So we can make an equation with the help of the multiplication factor. So guys, what is 40%? You can say 2 by 5, its increment, so multiplication factor is 1 plus 2 by 5, which you can say as 7 by 5. So cost price into 7 by 5 has to be the mark price, all right? It has to be the mark price, simple. Okay, now what shall we say? Mark price value is how much, guys? Is rupees 840. Okay, now if I put this here, we shall get the value of cost price as well. So cost price has to be what? We can say rupees 840 into 5 by 7. Okay, now 540 by 7 is 120. 125 are further is rupees 600. So we can say what? That cost price in this question has to be rupees 600. Alright guys, let's move to the next problem now. The next problem is that if selling price of an article is giving 630 by giving the discount of 30%, now we have to find its marked price. Okay, now guys, selling price is given, all right, and we need to find the marked price, and discount percentage is also given. So this is the case of, you can say, discount percentage or percentage decrease, right? Now in case of discount percentage, we know that the marked price is the initial value and selling price is always the final value. So in this question, guys, selling price means the final value is given, and initial value means the marked price is to be, find out. How do we do that? Again, we have to find an initial value, and whenever we have to find the initial value, the best way of solving can be the multiplication factor. So let's solve this with the multiplication factor. Marked price, initial value, discount 30% is percentage decrease, and selling price is the final value which we have. All right, now marked price into what should be the multiplication factor? So guys, 30% is 3 by 10, multiplication factor is 1 minus 3 by 10, which you can say as 7 by 10. Now it has to be the selling price, and selling price is given to us, how much is given to us? Rupees 630, right? So what should be the market price now? Market price we can say is rupees 630 into 10 by 7, right? 630 by 7 we can say is 90, 90 into 10 is 900. So finally we can say the market price in this case is rupees 900. Alright guys, simple case, right? Now let's increase the level a bit. Next question says that if markup percentage is 60 and discount is given 25%, then find the profit or loss percentage. Markup percentage is given, discount percentage is also given, and we need to find the profit or loss percentage. So no value is given, only the percentage terminologies are given. So guys, how do we do such kind of questions? Either we can use a multiplication factor, or we can also solve it by making some assumptions. Making some assumption can be actually easier, right? So remember, I just told you that we use a multiplication factor, especially when we have to find the initial values, right? We can use this, but especially it is solved, or you can say it can be used better when we have to find the initial values, right? So in this question, we'll first try to solve with the assumptions, right? So guys, how we can assume? Remember, first we are given the markup percentage and the selling and the discount. So obviously first the markup happens and the discount happens, right? So I'm starting with an assumption that let marked price, or you can say let the cost price, because markup is given on the cost price, right? So I'll start with the cost price. Let the cost price is rupees 100. Okay, now markup percent is given 60%. Now guys, remember, markup percent is a kind of percentage increase on the cost price. So 60% has been increased from this. 60% increase means rupees 60 increase, all right? And then we get the mark price. So mark price should be how much? We can say mark price should be 100 plus 60, which you can say as 160. All right, so we got the mark price. Now by the help of the discount percentage, we'll try to find out the amount of the selling price as well. Okay, so discount is given how much? 25% is. I told you guys a few slides back, the discount is a kind of percentage decrease. So percentage decrease, and in this case the initial value is mark price. So 25% of the mark price, or 25% of 160 has to be how much? Rupees 40. Okay, now what finally we'll get the value of selling price when we subtract the discount from the mark price. So what should be the selling price? Selling price has to be 160 minus 40, which should be rupees 120. Okay, so finally guys, we got the selling price as well. Now we just have to find the profit or loss percentage. See guys, the cost is 100, the selling price is 120, and in the end we just have to find out the profit or loss percentage. So very simple, profit is rupees 20. You can see that the increment is 20 and the cost price is 100. So obviously the profit percentage has to be how much? Cost price is 20. Cost price is 100, the profit is 20. Obviously the profit percentage is 20%, right? So this is how we can solve this simple question. All right, now let's do the next problem. Okay, so the next problem is saying by what percentage should the cost price of an article be marked up, says that even after allowing a discount of 12.5%, a profit of 40% is made. All right, so they have given a point that the discount is given of 12.5% and profit is given of 40%. And what do we have to find out? They are asking by what percentage the cost price of an article be marked up. That means indirectly they are asking the markup percentage. All right. Okay, so how do we do this? We are given the discount percentage, we are given the profit percentages, and we have to find the markup percentages. So guys, discount is given on mark price and we obtain the selling price, and profit is given on the cost price and we obtain the selling price. Okay, so in both the relation, selling price is common, by the way, right? Okay, first I'll try to solve this with the help of an assumption, right? So guys, remember, the whole process starts with the cost price. First the cost price, then mark price, and then comes the selling price, right? So let's start with the cost price. Cost price, let us say, is rupees 100. See guys, the assumption is something which always depends on us, right? We can change the assumption as well if it is required. Okay, first I'll start with, let's say, 100 rupees. Let the cost price is rupees 100. Okay, now they are saying that profit of 40% is made. All right, the profit is made of 40%. So by this, we can directly obtain the selling price. Okay, 40% is profit. What is 40% of cost? 100, we can say it's obviously rupees 40. Okay, That means the selling price should be rupees 140 right now. Alright, now what they are saying that discount is given of 12.5%. Now guys, discount is given on the mark price to obtain the selling price, right? Now we already have the selling price, but we do not have the mark price. So in this case, we can say what mark price is to be is something which we have to find out, which is the initial value, by the way, right? And selling price, which we know, is basically the final value, right? So final value we know, and selling price and the initial value we have to find out. In this process, final value we know 140, initial value we have to find out. That means guys, we should use the concept of multiplication factor. Why? I told you that whenever we have to find out the initial value, we should always try to use the multiplication factor, right? Here, what is the discount percentage? 12.5, okay, which is definitely a decrease, right? So what shall we say, guys? We shall say from here, mark price into how much? See, discount percentages, we can say 1 by 8. So the percentage decrease is also, 12.5% means a decrement is 1 by 8. So what should be the multiplication factor? We'll say 1 minus 1 by 8, which is actually 7 by 8, right? So MP into 7 by 8 should be basically the selling price. Now, selling price we know as how much? Rupees 140. Okay. By this, we will definitely find out the mark price, right? Mark price should be how much, guys? It should be 140 into 8 by 7, right? Now, 140 by 7 we can say is 20, and 20 into 8 we can say is rupees 160, right? So mark price has to be rupees 160, which we got finally. And remember guys, the cost price was 100 and mark price is 160. Okay, we can write this here as well. Cost price is 100 and the mark price comes to be 160 rupees, right? So finally we can get the markup percentage. What should be the markup percentage? Simple, markup percentage is 60, right? Because the markup amount is 60 and cost price is 100, so we can directly say that markup percentage is 60%. Alright guys, so this is how we can solve this question as well. But you know what, in this case it was very lucky that we started with some assumption and things just got worked out and we could solve it without much efforts, right? But maybe every time it doesn't happen the same, right? It was a simple process, numbers got very easy and we could do it easily, but maybe it doesn't happen always. So I would like to tell you one more method by which you can solve these kind of questions even we do not have very much comfortable numbers, right? Okay, what is the second way? So the question, we know that by what percentage should the means we know we have to find the markup percentages when the discount is given 12.5 and profit is given 40%. So remember guys, I told you something that in both of these cases discount is given on MP, we got the selling price, profit is given on cost and we get the selling price. In both the processes, in the end we get the selling price, right? And we can use the selling price to get a relation between CP and MP. Let me write this all, okay? So first thing, discount is given on the mark price, okay? And we obtain the selling price. Discount in this case is 12.5%. Okay, and second thing, the profit is calculated from the cost price and we get the selling price, we just get the selling price in the end. Okay, we get the selling price in the end. So what next, guys? We can do what? We can make the multiplication factor in both of them. We can make the equation for both of the processes. So here discount means decrease, all right? 12.5 is 1 by 8, so multiplication factor is 1 minus 1 by 8, which is 7 by 8 should be the selling price. Simple. Second case, guys, percent is increase, profit percent is a kind of increase. 40% means 2 by 5, multiplication factor is 1 plus 2 by 5, which you can say as 7 by 5. All right. Okay, now as I said, in both of these equations, the selling price is common. So we can do one thing. Let's make this as equation number 1. Let's make this as equation number 2, right? Both the equation right hand side is common, so we can say that the left hand side should be the same as well, right? Okay, so we'll say what? MP into 7 by 8 has to be actually CP into the 7 by 5, right? CP into the 7 by 5. Now you can see that 7 both should get cancelled out, right? And we can say from here that MP into CP is equal to how much? Has to be see, or you can do the cross multiplication, right? That can also be done. So after the cross multiplication, 5 should go there and 8 should go to the right hand side. Okay, so we can say what? That MP into 5 has to be CP into 8, right? Now from this we can get a ratio of CP and MP. So we'll say CP is to MP is how much? Alright guys, MP comes here, 8 goes here, that means this ratio has to be 5 is to 8. Alright, now by this ratio we can assume CP and MP. Alright, what can we assume? Let guys the CP is rupees 5 and the MP is rupees 8, right? Let the CP is rupees 5 and MP is rupees 8, and we just have to find the markup percentages. Alright, so what do we do, guys? See, in this case, what is the amount of markup, right? Amount of markup has to be 3 rupees, obviously, right? Markup has to be 3. And what do we have to find out? We have to find the markup percentages. So what should be the markup percentage? Remember, markup percent is something which is calculated on the CP always, right? Markup percentage, that means the amount of markup is what percentage of CP. Amount of markup is rupees 3, amount of CP is rupees 5. So we just have to find out that 3 is what percentage of 5, right? Which you can also say as 3 into 1 by 5, by the way. And 1 by 5 we all know is 20%. So by this, we can say the answer has to be 60%. Alright, so we got the markup percentage 60%, and in this, we remember with the last method also we did, we got the 60%. With this method also has to be same, obviously. So we have these two methods, right? As I said, when the numbers are comfortable, we should use the first method. If the numbers are not comfortable, then we can do by this method as well. And guys, this method can be helpful in the other kind of questions as well. So this method is something also I want you to know and you to practice. Alright, similarly guys, I'm taking one more question of the same type, right? But this time percentages are slightly different. Okay, the question says that by what percentage should the cost price of an article be marked up such that even after allowing a discount of 11.11%, a profit of 14.28% is made. Alright, so how do we do? The same thing, either we can solve with the assumption if everything goes correct, or we can solve with this method as well. Alright guys, so remember how do we start this whole process? First the cost, then mark price and selling price. So we should always start with the cost if you are doing with the assumption, right? So let the cost price. Alright guys, but how do we assume the cost price? See, cost price in this question will be first calculating the profit with the help of the cost price, right? And profit given is 14.28%, which you all know is actually 1 by 7, right? So we should assume the cost price something which should be the multiple of 7 as well, so that we can do the calculation faster. So guys, I'm assuming the cost price, let's say, as 700, okay, the multiple of 7, so that we can do this calculation faster. Okay, so we know the profit is 14.28%, which we can say as increment as well. Now 14.28% is of the cost price, right? 1 by 7 of cost price, that means 1 by 7 of 700 should be rupees 100. Okay, so we can say the profit is of 100 rupees. That means the selling price should be how much? Everybody, the selling price has to be rupees 800, which you can say by the help of this. All right, now what next thing is what guys? Now we talk about the discount and all, but discount is given on the mark price and we get the selling price, right? And selling price you already have. That means we have the final value in this process, and we need to find the initial value of the process. Initial value, I mean to say the mark price, right? Okay guys, let me write this. Mark price we do not have. We give the discount on the mark price, which in this case is 11.11%, right? And we get the selling price, which you can say. All right, now with the help of this we can make an equation, right? Remember guys, 11.11% is the discount, which is a decrement. 11.11% is actually 1 by 9, right? So what should be the multiplication factor? It's being decreased, so multiplication factor is 1 minus 1 by 9, which you can further say as 8 by 9, right? So guys, mark price into 8 by 9 has to be the selling price in the end. All right, now selling price we know is 800, okay, in this case. So we can find out the mark price easily, right? Mark price should be how much? We'll say mark price has to be rupees 800 into 9 by 8. All right, into 9 by 8. 800 by 8 is 100, into 9 is 900. So guys, we got the amount of mark price is rupees 900. Okay, we have the selling price 700, we have the mark price 900, and now we can find out the markup percentage as well. Okay, markup percentage is what? The relation, or you can say the percentage change between CP and MP. So guys, CP in this case is rupees 700, okay, and MP in this case we just found as rupees 900. Okay, so what should be the amount of markup? The amount of markup we'll say is 200, the increment, and finally the markup percentage. So guys, markup percentage is, we know, is always calculated with respect to the CP. Amount of markup is 200, okay, and CP we know is 700. So we have to calculate that 200 is what percentage of 700, which we can also say as 2 by 7. All right, 2 by 7 guys we can say as 2 into 1 by 7, and 1 by 7 we all know is 14.28 percentages. Now by multiplying 14.28 percentage with 2, we'll get the final markup percentage, which is 2 into 14.28 is basically 28.56 percentages, right guys? So in this case we'll say that markup percentage is 28.56 percentages. So these are a few questions based on the markup and discount percentages. Now we'll be learning some basics of discount series as well. Okay, what is discount series, guys? Discount series is nothing but the another application of successive percentage change, right, which you have learned already in percentages topic. So let's quickly describe this. Let's say guys we are putting a discount series of 10 percentages and again 10 percentages, right? Okay, let's say first discount is 10% and discount is always put on mark price, right? So let's assume the mark price is rupees 100. Okay, the first 10% discount is given on 100 rupees. 10% of 100 is, we'll say, rupees 10. Okay, and by this we'll get the selling price, which is 90 rupees. Now comes the second discount of the series, right guys? Now the second discount is not given on the original mark price, is given on the selling price which you obtained after the first discount, right? Or you can also say that this selling price now becomes the new mark price, okay, and the discount is given on this 90 now, right? Discount percentage is 10% in the second case. Now 10% of 90 is rupees 9. Okay, so 90 minus 9 we can say is basically 81. All right, 90 we subtracted 9 and we got 81 in the end. Simple. So guys, we can say that this 81 is the final selling price which we have. All right, this 81 we can say is the final selling price. Okay, so what should be the overall discount percentages, right? So guys, overall discount you see is 19 rupees. All right, and if you talk about the discount percentage, very simple. Discount percent is calculated on the mark price, which is rupees 100 over here. So what should be the discount percentage? The discount percentage has to be 19 out of 100. Okay, discount upon the mark price, and 19 out of 100 is nothing but 19 percentages. So this is how we can find out the overall discount percentage by the help of discount series given. All right, and we can also make the relationship of mark price and selling price by the help of the multiplication factor. Okay, remember guys, initial value is the mark price, first discount percentage is 10%, so the multiplication factor has to be 9 by 10, 1 minus 1 by 10, simple. Now the second discount is also 10%, so we can say one more thing. We can multiply the multiplication factor again, which will be again 9 by 10 because the second discount is also 10%, right? So into 9 by 10 once again, and then finally we can say that this has to be the final selling price. And guys, this has to be the relationship between MP and SP. All right, so this is about the relationship. How do we obtain with the help of the discount series is given as well, right? Now guys, let's take one more example, okay, and then we can try a few questions of this. Let's say the second series is 10% and 20%. All right, so how do we obtain this? How do we use this to find the overall discount percentage, right? Let's again assume the mark price as rupees 100. Okay, now the discount, first discount is 10%, is 10% of 100 is rupees 10, and we get at 90, we get the price as 90. Okay, now the second discount is 20%. So 20% of 90 we can say is rupees 18. Remember, the second discount is given on this price now, the selling price after the first discount. So 20% of 90 we shall say is 18. 90 minus 18 is 72. Okay, so overall discount is how much, guys? So overall discount we'll say is 28, and the initial mark price was 100. So we can say the overall discount percentage can also be how much? Is 28%. Simple, right? Okay, so this is one of the ways of doing this, right guys? Okay, in fact, even if I change the order of this discount series, right? Let's say the order, and let's say the first discount is 20 and the second discount is 10. Then let's see what do we get, guys. Okay, so in this case, let's say the markup is again 100 rupees first, right? First discount is given 20% and 20% of 100 is rupees 20, so we shall get this as rupees 80. Okay, now the second discount is 10% in the series. Okay, so 10% of 80 we can say is rupees 8. Fine. Now 8 is subtracted and we get the final selling price as rupees 72. Okay, guys, we get the final selling price as 72. So you can see again the overall discount is 28, right? Again the overall discount is 28. That means the overall discount percentage should also be 28%. Why? Simple reason, because the mark price is 100 and the amount of discount is 28. So 28 out of 100 is 28% once again. So you saw that the change does not affect the final discount percentage, right, guys? We change the order of the discount series. Even after that, the final discount percent is the same. What does it mean? It means that in a discount series, even if it changes the order, it does not make any change in the final discount percentage. And we can use this concept in solving a few questions as well in an easy way, right? Okay, now how do we make the relation between MP and SP? The same thing, guys. MP is certain first, and then the first discount is 10%, so multiplication factor is 9 by 10. Okay, the second discount is 20, so the multiplication factor is 4 by 5, and it must give us the final selling price, right? Guys, even if I change the order, so what will happen? 20% 4 by 5 is here, 10% 9 by 10 is here. So in multiplication, the order doesn't matter anyways, right? So this will be the same relation in both the cases, obviously. Okay, so this is, guys, the basics of the discount series. Now we'll be doing a few applications on this. So the first question in front of us is this. It says that the trader gives three successive discounts of 10, 20 and 25% and gets rupees 378 by selling the article. Now find out the mark price of the article. So guys, in this case I have taken three discounts, right? In a series there are three discounts, 10, 20 and 25, and finally gets 378 by selling. That means this is the selling price and we have to get the marked price. Okay, so what shall we do, guys? We have a series of discounts, marked prices we have to find out, and selling price we have. Selling price, again, we can say is the final value, marked price is the initial value which you have to find it out, right? Okay, let me write this. Find marked price. The discount series is about 10, 20 and 30. Discount is always about the decrement, right? Okay, we got the selling price. Selling price is something which we can find out. Simple, right? We can find, selling price is something given and we can find out the mark price, right? How? We can have a lot of ways, but remember, guys, again, we have to find an initial value, all right? And to find the initial value, the best way is always using the multiplication factor, right? And I just taught you in the previous slides, how do we make the relation, how do we use multiplication factor even if you have a discount series, right? We just have to write the multiplication factor of all of these discounts and multiply all the multiplication factors. Simple. So what do we do? MP first, then 10% decrease. That means the multiplication factor will say is 9 by 10, right? 20% is 1 by 5, so multiplication factor has to be 4 by 5. 25% is 1 by 4, so multiplication factor has to be 3 by 4. Okay, the selling price we shall say is rupees how much? 378. That's it, right, guys? We just have to use this equation to get the value of the mark price. See, guys, 4 here is common, so got cancelled out. Okay, now the remaining is 9 into 3 in the numerator and 10 into 4 in the denominator. It's okay, so we just take all of these numbers in the right hand side now. So it must be 378 into we'll say 10 by 9 into, we'll say that 5 by 3. Okay, now let's try to divide them. Will they get divided or not, right? Okay, 9s are, if we divide by 9, so 9 4s are is 36 and 1 into 2, like 1 and 8, 18. So 9 2s are is 18, simple. And this 3, 42 by 3 we all know is 14. Okay, so 14 into 10 into 5 in the end. 14 5s are, you can say 70, 70 into 10 we can say is 700. So finally we shall say that the mark price has to be 700 in this particular question, right, guys? So this is how we can solve by the help of the multiplication factor, even if we are given, a bunch of discounts in a discount series, right? Okay, now next problem is on the same discount series. The question says that a trader marks an article at rupees 6,000. Okay, so this time mark price is given already. Okay, that means the initial value we know, right? Then they are saying he gives some discount on it and then gives some additional discount of 16.66% on it and finally sells at rupees 4,000. Now find out the first discount percentage he gave. Okay, so this time we have to find what are the discount percentages in the discount series. Okay, now first discount percentage we have to find out, and the second one is given 16.66, and finally selling price and mark price both are given. Okay guys, I told you one concept before a few slides, that in a discount series, even if we change the order of the discount, the final result or final discount or final selling price does not change. So we can use that concept in this question to do this much faster. Okay, how? All right, first discount is given, first the markup percent is given. How much is given? Rupees 6,000 to us. Okay, now guys, the first discount percent we do not know, second one is 16.66. so if we change the order, or you can say if we write the second discount as first and the first and second, the selling price should not change, right? So I'm doing the same. I'm assuming the first discount as 16.66, right? I'm just changing the order of these discounts, right? So there should be some value obviously, and the first discount which you do not know, let us assume that this is the second discount, right? Okay, this is the second discount which you do not know right now. Okay, percent is decreased since it's a discount. Okay, let's write like this, discount percent is decreased, and finally we get the final selling price. What is the final selling price, everybody? That's given to us as 4,000. Okay, so now we'll just use this point to solve the question. Okay, how? First thing, 6,000, 16.66% is discount. What is 16.66 of 6,000? See, 16.6 we all know is 1 by 6. Now 1 by 6 of 6,000 is obviously 1,000 rupees. So 1,000 rupees is given as a discount. That means we can say the selling price with the first discount should be 5,000. Okay guys, now you know what, again some discount has been given in this, and finally we get the final selling price as rupees 4,000, right? So you can say what, now in this 5,000 we have given some discount to get the selling price is 4,000, and we need to find the discount percentage with this particular change. All right guys, so what is a discount in this case? The amount of discount we can say is how much, from 5,000 to 4,000, that means the amount of discount is 1,000 rupees. Okay, and in this case we can say the mark price is 5,000, so we can easily calculate the discount percentage, right? Discount percentage is what, that the amount of discount is what percentage of the mark price. Okay, the amount of discount is 1,000 rupees and the amount of mark price is 5,000. So we just have to find out that 1,000 is what percentage of 5,000, right? Which we can further say as 1 by 5, which you can further say as 20%. And guys, finally we can say that the first discount should be 20%, which was being asked in this particular question. Alright guys, so this is how we solve this question from discount series, and this is this was the last question of discount series as well, and this is where I would say this was the all about this particular session. In the next session we'll be doing some more concept like the concept of cheating, adulteration, etc., right? And yes, we'll be learning a lot of applications as well. So guys, this is all for the session. I hope you enjoyed, you got to learn something, and yes, please write something in chat, in the comments, if you want us to do something else for you, and yes, write the and also just try to continue your studies. Thank you so much guys, we'll be meeting soon. Take care, bye bye.